When you hear the sound of the bell, you know you in the championship rounds with King Amin of Essex, and I'm back. Women's Boxing Wednesday. What else? Let's get to it. Kind of light in the news cycle, but this allows me to kind of delve into some specific elements of some of the recent fight announcements that's happening. So these may or may not hold us over for a while, but let's get to it. Like I said, first things first, Alycia Baumgardner, it has been announced that her mandatory opponent, Delfine Persoon, if you don't know that name, I'll get to it. She's one of King Leopold's people, but she's all right. I'll get to it. We know that Baumgardner's coming in off of some inactivity due to suspension. She's moving on. We'd like to see her move on and defend her undisputed 130-pound titles. Of course, Persoon is a very, very dangerous opponent. The only two significant losses now, she's got three losses, right? She's 49-3 with 49-3 with 19 knockouts. Her only two significant losses were to Katie Taylor. The other loss very early in her career, you know how that goes. Um, but she only moved up to fight Taylor, and she's kind of really is a true super featherweight. So 130 is really her neighborhood. This is going to be not only a great name, a tough fight, and we're really going to see what Baumgardner's made of. We're going to see that undisputed pedigree, or we could see her face some adversity. This is a fight that's going to, if you know boxing, period, forget about the women's, but if you know boxing, period, you know that this is a tough out. So I'm excited to tune into that one. Not announced yet, but I'm guessing we'll get it maybe towards the mid or end of the summer. Right? We're still in spring, guys. All right. Also talking about a championship level bout. This one has been announced, and we're talking about somebody. I think I've been a very big proponent of her and what she's been doing. I'm talking about Nina Hughes. Nina Hughes, a 6-1 WBA bantamweight division champ. Now, bantamweight division, one of my favorites, talk about it all the time. What she's doing, who she's not fighting, is anybody in the bantamweight division. Now, I know it's an attractive fight when an attractive fighter, um, super bantamweight, former super bantamweight champion Cherneka Sweet Neeks Johnson from Australia. She's the one that's got the title shot at Hughes. So not anybody in the bantamweight division that might deserve it, but I think this kind of creates a bridge. We seen bridge. I didn't even know I did that. It's so fucking slick. A bridge being built between Nina Hughes and Ebony Bridges. Maybe Ebony is not interested in pursuing the IBF route anymore because she's got two very skilled boxers, and certainly maybe the rivalry with all UK matchup makes sense to her. So maybe she'll try to jump into the fray. She is Cherneka Johnson. She is a very tough fighter, despite how she looks, man. People like to discredit women sometimes because they're attractive, but the girl can fight. But yeah, and she's an experienced opponent. Like I said, former champion, great fight. And then maybe Hughes and Bridges is the fight that gets made sometime in the future. I'm cool with that. Let's move on. Um, some slight action around the world before I get to me, the most important fight of the weekend. Um, You got 2-1 contender. What's her name? Lucia Nolia Perez out of Argentina. She's in action. I guess the card has some sort of affiliation with Samson Likowitz, so maybe I gotta holler at him, see what he's doing. I know he said they do favors between um Argentina and Uruguay, help fighters out. So I just, he seems to be a man that whose names keeps ringing bells within women's boxing. I gotta holler at him. All right, but she's in action somewhere down in Argentina. Um, there's a fight out in Italy. I mean, the fighter you may or may not know, it was Nina um, Ragdonovic. Maybe not. Right? She's fought Shannon Ryan. Um, no, Shannon Courtney. I'm sorry. So I'm familiar with the name. Pretty good opponent. She's like 17-4. So, but forget all that, and not to disregard those fighters and what's happening. But this is a very, very big bout. And shout out to Boxing Scene. They have a very good interview with the one and only, the true, excuse me, the true, the real undisputed champion of the welterweight division. That's the one and only Sandy, bad gal Sandy Ryan, as I call her. Um, the article was great because it gave us that piece of information that we can see. Those of us fans, those of us outsiders and observers of the sport that are watching, we could see that she has moved on from the whole debacle of the McCaskill fight. And like I mentioned on, the last episode, the universe will work itself out, because what I did know is, of course, if McCaskill, because she's running on fumes as far as I'm concerned, she could get upended by Lauren Price. So that could swing its way back around to an all UK unification, right? But also that WBC becomes vacant um, if McCaskill, or when McCaskill proceeds with the Lauren Price fight. So yeah, that creates another thing. Maybe Sandy go out there and get, become unified, have the WBO and the WBC. Totally here for it. Totally here for it. I would love that. So now, speaking of this week's bout, she's in there against someone that, pardon me, I just find her to be so. I love her nose. She has the cutest smile. She's funny. She's got personality. She's witty, and she's a hell of a fucking fighter. I'm talking about the 14-1-2 Terri the Belter Harper. Oh, I'm sorry. She's also the current WBA Super Welterweight division champion. So this woman, her pedigree within the sport is unprecedented. A current champion, and she's just, testing her mettle, right? Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, you remember that Terri Harper that Alycia Baumgardner defeated to win her titles. Yeah, that Terri Harper. So this is no easy out for bad gal Sandy. This is a very, very tough bout. And it like begs the question. That's how you know Harper is just beneath all the pleasantries and the good demeanor. She's crazy. She's going up and down, fighting champs, fighting for titles. She's doing whatever. Yeah, she fought Cecilia Brækhus, former champion, to a draw. Um, we know how her and Natasha Jonas bout with, like, think of all the names she's associated with. So why not? That's exactly why this is a hell of a test for Sandy Ryan. So I'm here for it now, because this is a welterweight division, and it's a welterweight division fight. I'm going with the welterweight champ. You know, I got to. I got to. I'm picking with my mind and I'm picking with my heart, because when Sandy, and she mentioned it in this article on Boxing Scene, if somebody bites, she'll bite right back. So she may start off convinced. She reminded me of Terrence Crawford in that way, where she might start off conventional, but if she just say fuck it, she'll just turn southpaw and just become an aggressive and much more offensive fighter. So I'm excited for that one, ladies and gentlemen, and you should too. It's gonna be on the undercard. Could have been its own main event. Yeah. Um, Especially in the UK for sure. And it's a title fight, but I think it's on the undercard of I don't know. I couldn't tell you right now, because we're here for what? Women's boxing, because women's boxing is boxing, and that's this thing of ours. All right. So we'll be back. I don't know when, but the news cycle, I try to let it build. I'm not gonna come here and fake hipster you with some fucking obscure fight out of fucking Afghanistan or something. If it matters, speaking of what matters, shout out, I mentioned it on IG, but let me mention it here as well. Nisa Rodriguez out of New York City, former 8-time amateur champion and current New York City police officer. She won her pro debut was it last Friday? Yeah, I believe last Friday. So salute to her, man. And it's still Women's History Month. So a lot of good things are going on. Keep things going on for yourself. I'll be back. Peace.